Anyone has any questions, please put it on chat. Okay, so Jyoti has a question. Can one item have multiple GST rates? Because in yesterday's example, we saw the men's shirt was at both 5% and 12%. Jyoti, GST tax rates are based on two types. One, it is based on value, and one, it is based on the item rate. If the item is classified based on the item rate, then you might have more than one GST rate, and typically it will be based on at what rate you are selling or what rate you are buying. So in yesterday's example, what we saw, the men's shirt was one at 5% if it is less than 1,000 rupees and 12% if it is more than 1,000 rupees. So only in cases where the item is classified based on the item rate and not on the value, you will have more than one rates. Okay, so if there are any questions, please go on typing on your chat. We'll come back to that later. So let's continue with today's topic. So we are continuing the GST. Okay, today we look at the sales, and if the time permits, we'll also look at the expenses, how to account this. Okay, as usual, the purpose of the training to increase efficiency and eliminate duplication of work. So do you all believe that we are going towards this purpose? Are you able to see in our trainings whether by doing all these things you could increase your efficiency and eliminate the duplication of work? How many of you believe yes, we are achieving this purpose? Can you just type yes on your screen, on your chat? Okay, so that's great. A lot of you are believing, and there are a lot of people I don't think they are responding. So I could take Maunam Sammati Lakshanam, which means that those who are keeping quiet will agree with us. Okay, good. Right. Okay. So today, in yesterday's session, we looked at the purchase portion. Okay, so in today's session, we will start looking at the sales portion of it. So when we are doing a sale entry, what are all the mandatory information that we need to create a sale entry? One is we require a sales ledger. Second, we require stock item. Third, we require the customer details. Who is the customer? What is his name? Which state he belongs to? What is his GST registration number? What is his GST registration type? Because a customer can be a registered dealer, a customer can be an unregistered dealer, a customer can be a consumer. Okay, you will find all these three types of customers. Or customer might be an exporter, where the customer is in outside India. Okay, so all these are mandatory fields, and of course you require output SGST, CGST, or the IGST as the cases. Okay, and any other transportation expense, freight and forwarding. If you have any of those things, you might require that. Okay, so the mandatory things: the sales ledger, the supplier details, the stock details, the item details, and the tax details. Okay, so quickly let's go on to our tally and start looking at saying how to do this. Okay, I think I have opened two tallies. Let me close one. So today is 8/04/2020. Okay, so yesterday we had done some five purchase entries. Okay, based on this thing. Okay, so okay, before we get into the sales, yesterday there were one question saying what is the permissible limit for unregistered dealer purchase? When should we start paying tax on reverse charge mechanism? Okay, so one configuration yesterday I didn't explain. Okay, if you want to start working on reverse charge mechanism, if you want that reverse charge mechanisms to affect your books of accounts, first thing that you need to do is go to F11 in the statutory and taxation in GST. Okay, you need to go and enable this portion, enable tax liability on reverse charge. So in the bracket it's specified as purchase from unregistered dealer. So you need to enable this. So once when you enable, okay, on this data, your URD purchases, effect on the URD purchases gets enabled. Okay, the next thing what you need to do is, say example, I'll just pass one entry and show it to you. So I'm just going to the purchase entry. Okay, so I'm just changing the dates, supplier invoice number. Example, I'm just saying Sudarshan Traders. Let me just take one. Sudarshan Traders, sundry creditors, maintain bill-wise details. And here I am saying he is an unregistered dealer because Sudarshan Traders doesn't have the GST registration. We are doing a purchase from him. Okay, and it's he is an unregistered dealer. So tax cannot be charged. I'm just taking to local purchase. Now it is asking for tax classification since I have enabled GST for unregistered dealers on reverse charge mechanism in F11. So in this tax classification, I am specifying it is purchase from unregistered dealer, which is taxable. So you have a nature of transaction called purchase from unregistered dealer taxable. Okay, so I'm specifying this, and now I go and purchase, say example, Parle-G biscuits. Okay, 200 numbers at 4.4 rupees. Okay, so there is no input tax and output tax because Sudarshan Traders is not a registered dealer. So being purchase, accept. Now if I just go and look at my GSTR2 report, okay, still because this has not crossed the permissible limit. Okay, so it is just showing 1200. So the permissible limit is, I think, 5000 or 10,000. Yesterday we were just discussing that. Okay, so let me just make one more entry. Example, let me just take Sudarshan Trader himself. So local purchases, purchase from unregistered dealers taxable. Okay, so let me just say Apple phone, one number, 25,000 rupees, being products purchased. Okay, so display statutory report GSTR2. See, look here. You are getting a new table called reverse charge liability to be booked, and it is showing you reverse charge purchase liability is 7,040 rupees. Once when you get inside of this, It is giving you the date, the taxable value, what is the CGST, what is the SGST that you need to pay on reverse charge. Okay. And here you are able to see the breakups. So now it is also taking for your Parle-G biscuit because it has crossed the value. Okay. On 25,000, 3,500 plus 3,500, 7,000 rupees. On 1,200, 20 plus 20, 40 rupees. So it is 7,040 needs to be paid on reverse charge mechanism. Okay. So if you all believe that if you buy from an unregistered dealer, you need not pay GST. So let us continue to buy from unregistered dealer. Okay. And if you cross the permissible limits, you will be liable to pay the GST from your pocket, because you are not paying to the supplier. So on behalf of the supplier, you need to account and show it in your reports. And of course, this amount will be available for your adjustment against ITC, but still you need to account and show this. Is everyone clear on this? Are there any questions? Yeah. So the permissible limit is on the screen on the left side top of your screen, which says the threshold limit is 5,000 per day. So you have to manage with 5,000 per day. Okay. So we'll move on. So this was one thing that yesterday I missed explaining you. Okay. So I thought I'll just update before we getting into the sales. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. So first let me make one sales ledger. Example, I'm just saying sales local. Sales inventory values are affected, GST is applicable, but I'm not setting up any GST rates because it will pick from my stock item. Okay. So I need to take one customer. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me just say D colon. I have got few of the customer details so that it's easier for us to move forward. Okay. So details. I just pulled some of the customer details from my records. So I'm just saying fine tunes is one of the customers that I have. Sundry debtors. Maintain bill wise details. Yes. I could give all their address, all these details, and come and update the GST number. Okay. So what is important when you create a customer or a supplier? The name of the customer, then which country they belong to, which state they belong to, and what is the registration type, whether are they registered, unregistered, composition or consumer, and their GST number. These 4 things, 4-5 things are mandatory for you to generate error-free GST reports. Okay. So now I'm creating output CGST under duties and taxes with GST, central tax. Okay. Output SGST, duties and taxes, GST, state tax. Output IGST, duties and taxes, GST, integrated tax. Round off, for rounding off the invoice, I am taking this under expense indirect. Okay, here type of ledger used is for invoice rounding. Tag that invoice rounding to nearest 1 rupee. GST is not applicable on this. So these are the minimum ledgers that I need to have to ensure that I do an error-free GST invoices. Okay. So now let's go to a sales invoice. Click on sale entry. I'm just changing the date for our convenience purpose, and saying who is the customer. Customer is Fine Tune India Private Limited. Okay, so delivery note, all this details, if you have, you could update this. Okay, destination. Okay, LR, RR number, vehicle number, all these details. Their go down, their address, all these details are updated. So which sales ledger it is? Sales local. Okay, don't worry about the FL configuration, because since it's sales local, it will automatically take that. Here is where you need to update the stock items. Example, let me take all these items. Rice 10 kg at 50 rupees per kg, 500. Then Parle-G biscuit 50 numbers at 5 rupee per pack. Then I have Cadbury's chocolate 50 numbers at 20 rupees per piece. Then I have one Tally software, one number 18,000. Then I have one Apple phone. Okay, example, one number at 70,000. See, you could observe over here, as the 50,000 got enabled, it went more than 50,000, automatically in the bottom you are able to see provide GST details, provide Avaible details. Okay, so I've updated this. Now I have output CGST, output SGST, and I have a round off. Is this clear? On this, now I could also give all the GST Avaible details. When I enable yes, here it is showing who is the consignor, okay, from whom it is getting billed, okay, from where it is getting dispatched, to whom it is getting billed, what is the shipment details, what is the mode of transport, and you could see some of the lines are with stars, which means those things are mandatory for you to generate a proper bill. Okay, so now based on this, okay, you could also push this and generate an Avaible. I'll just show you that. Okay, so like example, now I'm just updating all these things. Okay, so fine tunes is GST number, state, address. So number 134, Surveyor Street, Basavanagudi, Bangalore. Okay, place Bangalore, pin code 560004. Okay, now the dispatch pin code is 56003 and the pin code of ship to is 560004. Okay, distance in kilometers, say example 10 kilometers. Okay, transporter name, if I'm sending through a transporter, I could list, if it is part of my ledgers, you could list there, or you could just say new transporter, and you need to give the transporter GST number or its identification number. Okay, so now example, okay, let me just take transporter. Okay, let me just take, for time being, okay, this GST number as the transporter. Okay, transporter ID, okay, has got up, sorry, I have just updated. Okay, the transporter name, right? I'm sorry, name is VRL Transports. Okay, transporter ID is where I need to give this. Vehicle number 4190, vehicle type, whether it's a regular or a over dimensional cargo. I'm just saying regular, docket, e-waybill, airbill, waybill number. Okay, and say example, I have all this number and date. Okay, so I've updated this being sales entry made. Okay, now it is automatically asking you, see, look at here, as soon as you save, it is automatically asking, do you want to generate a JSON file to upload this and generate e-waybill details directly? So this gets updated and this file will be available. You could go to e-waybill portal, upload this file, and your e-waybill gets created. Okay, so it is offline integration to your e-waybill is also available. Okay, so I'm just saying export this file. Yes, it's required. So now this file is available. Now I could log into the e-waybill portal, log in with my username, password, and upload this file so that automatically e-waybill gets generated. So here what we are doing, as we do the invoice here, I'm just uploading this file to e-waybill portal so that I don't again need to go to e-waybill portal and duplicate the work. So example, I have 5 items, 5 line items. Again, I need not go to e-waybill, type the item name, type the HSN code, type the quantity. All those things are not required. I could just go and upload this JSON file. Immediately, my e-waybill gets generated. Is that clear? So now as I upload the e-waybill, so now the process is, I have got this folder. Now I go to e-waybill portal. Okay, say example, I've got this. Okay, so now what I do is, I will go to e-waybill portal. Example, let me just come. Okay, so I'll just open my browser. Now I don't know what is the e-waybill. Does anyone know what's the e-waybill link? Okay, so you just give the username, password, log into this, and just upload the e-waybill. So the e-waybill gets generated. As you generate your e-waybill, you will come and update what is the e-waybill number. Say example, I'm just giving 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 7 8 9 0 1 2. Okay, so assume that this is the e-waybill that has got generated. It's invoice 1, party name is fine tunes, invoice date and invoice amount, e-waybill number, everything has got updated. Okay, now I go back, click on print. Okay, with preview, I can enable what are all the fields that I require. I require phone number. If you require all other details, just enable this. Okay, so let me change the title, because in the earlier title we had invoice come bill of supply. Yeah, this is default taking invoice come bill of supply because there is both exempted item as well as taxable item. Okay, so it is internally recognizing, and so it is taking the header as invoice come bill of supply. And you could also go to F12 and say what fields you require. You could enable that. Say example, I want complete mailing details, address in continuous line. If you require the bank details on your invoice, you could enable that. Quantity, additional details, do you require PAN number, tax registration numbers, all these things that you could enable. Okay, if you require GST column, enable that GST column. Place of supply, enable that. Tax invoice in base currency, if you want the base currency, you could enable that. Then say jurisdictions, update. This is a computer generated invoice. Okay, then you could also specify the number of copies that you require. Say example, you could go to copies over here and say 3 copies you require, one for you, one for the buyer, one for the transporter, and one for your records. Okay, so you could enable that and say yes. So you could see here the invoice that has got generated. So here it says invoice cum bill of supply, virginal for recipient. Okay, so this is the first copy. Invoice number and the Avaible number is also printed on your invoice. Date of the bill, date of the invoice, online 10 days of credit, dispatch document number, dispatch through VRL at their godown. Fine tunes, if I had got their address, it would have printed their address also. So there is my company address. Then what is the item? Raw rice, there is a HSN code, at what rate GST is charged, what is the quantity, rate and amount. Okay, so it's listing everything, and it is also giving you output CGST, output SGST. Okay, so go to the second page. So first page is complete. Okay, just come to the second page. Okay, so because the page alignment it has automatically done, and there is a round off of 50 paisa. Total value is 1,12,723. And you could also see there is a HSN wise tax breakup against each HSN number. What is the taxable value and what is the tax charged? And you get your company PAN number at the bottom, declaration for Meda Consultancy Services, your company name, and subject computer generated invoice. To this extent, you could automate your invoicing. Okay, so this is the first copy. As you move forward, okay, you could find this second copy. So it says duplicate for transporter, because we need to give one copy to the transporter. So there is a duplicate for transporter and duplicate for, okay, sorry, this is the second sheet. The third sheet is triplicate for supplier. This is for the supplier that I need to give. Third copy is for the supplier. Is this clear? Are there any questions? Let me just come back to the chat. Let me see, there were few chat messages. Okay, Amira Rafiq is saying transportation charges also needs to be added. Yes, we will do it. How can it be uploaded? Please explain. Vishwanath, we will do that. Sir, we should give HSN code to transportation charges or packing charges and forwarding. Yes, it is not HSN code, it is called SAC, that is Standard Accounting Code. Pravir, thank you. I got that. Raghav Mandal, how to put bank details, we will show it to you. Okay. Srinivasan, please add transportation charges and show how the sale invoice. Okay, we will do that. Okay, so one is we need to add transportation charges, we will do that. Second is you want the bank details. That is what I understand from all these chats. Only two, or it might be a packing and forwarding, transportation, packing, forwarding, all these details, right? Okay. So let me do that. I'll show it to you. Let us make one more invoice. This invoice, is it clear? That's good. Okay. So fine, let us come back to Tally. So as I have created this invoice, okay, what is going to happen to my GST reports? Go to your display, statutory reports. This is GSTR1, part of GSTR1. So you could see here, included in returns is 1. Okay. So there is no incomplete information, full information is available, and this has been listed in your B2B invoices. Right? And as I see this report, I remember one question yesterday, one of the participants had asked saying how to see the percentage wise breakup. in this report in GST, especially in GSTR2 report, how do you see the percentage wise breakup, right? There was, I think it was the question from Jyoti or someone, if I remember it right. Okay, so I'll just take you through that before we continue here. Say example, if I want to see the percentage wise report, okay, I could just go to this list of transaction. Okay, so there is a list of transaction over here which is giving me the details. Okay, if I just click on invoice wise value, it is showing the invoice wise or it's party wise. Okay, I was looking at this report yesterday. I got this, I was just working on that. See here, when you go to the invoice wise report on the screen, okay, you could just click on F1 details, which will give you percentage wise breakups at the invoice level. Yeah, I think Miloni's question was that. Okay, sorry for digressing, we'll just come back. So GSTR1, the information is available. Okay, if you want to just go here and look at this report, it is giving you the voucher wise information. Okay, so taxable value, right? Okay, now let us go and do one more transaction. Okay, including freight and forwarding, including transportation charges, all these details, right? Okay, so there was a question saying, okay, we want to include our bank account. First, let us just create one bank ledger so that we could include that as part of bank account. State Bank of India, bank account number 36811624910, SBIN 0007080, bank State Bank of India, branch Malleshwaram, Bangalore. Okay, so I've just created my bank account. Okay, so let me directly go to the sales entry. Okay, I'm just changing the date. Now this I'm selling to one more customer. Okay, so let me just, as on the fly, we will create the customers. Example, Extrude Hone India Private Limited. Okay, so the customer is not available for me. So how do I create? What is the shortcut key? To create ledger on the data entry screen, what is the shortcut key? Yes, it's Alt-C. Okay, so I'm just pressing Alt-C. I've created a new customer under sundry data with bill-wise details, address, Bangalore. Okay, now I need to give their GST number. So first let me just give their PAN number, sorry, and their GST number. So PAN number is also not mandatory, GST number is mandatory. Okay, so I'm just creating all these details. Whenever I want, I could update this. Okay, I'm just moving forward. So sales local. Okay, so let me just block this. I could go to F12 configurations and say allow modification of GST during tax details during transaction. I'll just make this as no. Okay, so now the item that I am selling, let me just take one item, Apple phone, 2 numbers, 1,40,000. Okay, and I'm just taking one more Cadbury chocolate. Okay, 100 numbers, or sorry, 10 numbers at 20 rupees, 200. Now for this, assume there is a transportation charges and freight, and both freight and forwarding and transportation charges. So I need to create one ledger. There is no freight and forwarding, so items are finished. Now I need to create freight and forwarding, odd, and transportation, because none of these ledgers are available, right? So I'm just creating freight and forwarding charges. So this is my income, either direct or indirect, wherever you want you could take that. Okay, say example, I'm just putting under indirect income. Inventory values are affected. No, this is not an inventory. This thing, it is just the charges that we are charging. So there is no movement of inventory in this. So make this as no. Since you are making this as no, you need to give all the GST details here. Now there are two ways to deal with it. If you are charging GST on freight and forwarding also, you are supposed to do that, right? Any charges that comes as part of your invoice, you have to charge GST on that. Okay, so you need to enable, go to your Tally, set alter GST details, make it as yes, give SAC code for this. This is standard accounting code. Say example 9483. I'm just giving one standard code. Then what is the nature of transaction? Okay, just leave this blank. Do not worry about this, because you might use it for same ledger for both your interstate sale as well as the local sale. Okay, then taxability, yes, it is to be taxed at what percentage? Say example, I'm just saying at 18%. And it's a service, it's not a goods. Okay, so example, I'm charging 500 rupees for freight and forwarding, and there is transportation charges. Transportation charges, indirect income, GST is applicable, 9483 or 84, whatever the GST code, SAC code you have, and this is also charged at 18%, and it's a service. Okay, so I'm charging 200 rupees for transport. So my product value is 1,40,200. I have additional 700 rupees freight and forwarding of 500 and transportation charges of 200. Okay, and on this I have output CGST 19,675 and output SGST. Same thing, Avaible, if you have all the details, you could provide the Avaible details, or in the current situation, I'll just say no, because we have gone through that Avaible, how to do that. Updated. So it's specifying you mandatory information of Avaible is not updated. Okay, document details has not been updated. It's just giving you a warning. Okay, fine, thank you, and I'm just moving forward. So my entry is done. Okay, if you look at tax analysis, this is what you are getting, the tax analysis. So freight and forwarding on 500 rupees, 45 rupees is the tax. On transportation, 18 and 18 rupees is the tax. On your product, there is 14 and 14% and 6 and 6%. Right? So now if I just print this, Okay, and I need all these details, like including the bank details. Then again go on, click on F12 configure. Okay, and just update your bank details as yes. Select the bank and print. Okay, so this is my invoice details. Okay, Extrude Hone India, Yeshwantpur, Bangalore. Okay, all these details are available. What are all the items? Apple phone. There is an HSN code. There is a GST rate and amount. There is Cadbury HSN code, GST rate, quantity, rate per item, amount, and freight and forwarding charges. There is an SSC code. Transportation charges. There is an SSC code. At what rate it is charged, and it is giving you the total value. And in the bottom you also have the GST breakup for these items against HSN code wise. And in the bottom you are also able to get the bank details along with the declaration. Okay, this forms your invoice. Is that clear? Any questions on this? Let me come to chat box. Srinivas, sir, if at all we have 2 slabs of tax, then packing and forwarding tax will be what? Is the slab is fixed at 18%? Srinivas, as per my understanding goes, all the services are 18% irrespective. Okay, but if there are slabs, okay, the slab is meant only for the product, not for the service. Okay, but there are certain instances where I have seen, say example, in when I go to the dealers in APMC market who are my customers. Okay, so they are charging transportation charges at 5% because they are saying their products come at 5% and they want to charge at 5%. But I don't know how the GST is going to treat that. Okay, but if you have a different percentage, you could create one more and do it, or at the transaction level you could change the percentage and do it. But as far as my understanding goes, or any service for that matter has to be charged at 18%. That is what the GST slab rates are. Rent a cab is 5%. Yeah. What is this rent a cab? On what you are paying 5%, madam? On service. See, rent a cab is an aggregator, if I understand it correctly, who is providing the service of the taxi services like an Uber or a Ola or any of these people. Okay, so there are 2 kinds of charges they charge. One is the taxi hire rent charges. Second is for providing the service of this. Say example, you can just go from your mobile, book it and do everything, right? So there are 2 kinds of services they charge. Okay, so rent a cab means you need to understand on what bill. So if you could just show me the bill of this, we'll be able to understand how they are charging. Okay, so is this clear how to do this? So is everyone clear on how to generate a sale invoice? Are there any questions on this before we move to the next topic? Okay, Looks like okay, everyone good. Okay, so the problem is not about how it generates over here. The problem is, what if I miss any of the list in the items? What if I miss the tax? What's going to happen? What if I charge wrong on a wrong ledger? Right? These are the problems that you will have on a day-to-day basis once you start doing the data entry. This is where your voucher class becomes very, very helpful. In the previous sessions, when we took up the advanced voucher management, okay, we went through the voucher class. You all remember? We went through that voucher class and we started defining what ledger should automatically come, how it should calculate, all those things. Right? We could do a similar configuration now along with the GST so that you will have much more better control and much more simplified and automated. Okay, so I'll just take you through this example and show it to you how you could do this. Okay, so that going forward, okay, you could also use that kind of configurations and it will simplify your data entry. Okay, so let's move on. Say example, I'm just going to accounts info voucher types alter sales. Okay, so here when I go to this sales voucher, okay, so I'm going and saying okay, default make it as tax invoice, default take my bank account, jurisdiction details. Okay, or declaration, you could have your own declarations if you don't want to use the standard declarations that's available in Tally. Okay, example here I'll say sales local. If it is sales local, okay, exclude which are all the groups that you want to exclude. Okay, I don't want bank details, I don't want any of these details. I don't want sundry creditors, I want to list only debtors. Okay, so here all other groups I require, and this sales. Okay, so sales tax classification, let it take automatically, so just make this as no, rounding off might not be required for me. Then I have freight and forwarding charges as user defined value because it will change from invoice to invoice, and remove if zeros. Transportation charges as user defined value, remove if zeros. Then I have output CGST, output SGST, and a round off. Round off is as total amount rounding, normal to 1 rupee. Okay, then I will have sales interstate. Again, I will go and exclude all these groups, and I'll say I require only the other groups. I don't need the sales local. I need one more ledger called sales interstate. Right? So I'm just taking under sales interstate. Okay, sales account, under sales account, inventories are affected, GSTs are there, and it's for goods. Okay, I don't enable any of the tax details over here, it will automatically pull. Now I also have freight and forwarding as user defined value, transportation as user defined value. Here I have output IGST, not the CGST and SGST. I have a round off as total amount rounding to normal 1 rupee, and save this voucher type. So is it clear? We have got two voucher class. Okay, one with the CGST, SGST details, and the other with IGST details. Okay, so once when I have configured this voucher types, now I could come to the sale entry. Say example, I'm doing a sale entry on 9th. So when I just click on sales, I could select whether it is an interstate sale or a local sale. Say example, I'm doing a local sale. So you could see already automatically all these ledgers are populated. So you don't miss any of these things. Okay, so it is just showing me only list of sundry debtors over here. No other ledgers are getting viewed over here. Okay, say example, for fine tunes, I'm doing an invoice, and what items am I billing? Say example, men's shirt, 100 numbers at 999. Right? So as you type the rate and click on enter, it has automatically started calculating your GSTs. You could see over there 2497.5. Okay, then example, I don't have any other items. Freight and forwarding 1000 rupees against this. So you could just observe the output CGST and output SGST. Automatically it has changed. Okay, transportation charges 2500 rupees. Just observe the output CGST SGST. It has automatically changed, and now it has moved directly to your Avaible details. It's not even taking you to the CGST SGST fields. All right, save this transaction. As soon as you save, now it is asking you to print, because in the configuration we are told print after saving the transaction. So it's just printing. Say yes, it is showing you it on your screen what it gets printed. Okay, this will simplify the data entry mode in the great way, and you are eliminating any of the manual errors, because most of the things are automated now. Okay, because I don't remember what tax I need to charge. I don't know what percentage it has to be. So all these things are internally configured, and you are just updating it. Right? Is this clear? Are there any questions on this? Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's go and do. So now we have done few transactions, right? Let us just go and look at our GST report. So there are 3 transactions, and all the 3 are intact. Okay, it is saying B2B invoices. Okay, fine tunes 2 invoice, extrude horn 1 invoice. Okay. Yeah, so this is one more place where you could look at. In GST-R1, if you want to see the percentage wise, just go to GST-R1. Okay, so default it is showing you in the written format. This is the format it will show you. Click on view summary. So there is a summary format. Click on view summary. It is showing you in the summary format. Click on detailed. It is giving you percentage wise what is the sale and the tax. Will this help? Dinesh is saying it should be numbers, not pieces. Which you are referring, Dinesh? I didn't understand. Okay, so let's move on. Now let us move on to one interstate sales. So I'm just going and selecting interstate. Okay, changing the date to 10th/4. Okay, so who is the party? So I don't have this party, so let me just take one interstate customer. So can anyone tell me your company name and the GST number? Can you put it on the chat who are from outside Karnataka? Who are attending this session from outside Karnataka? Can you just give your GST details? Can you put it on chat so that we'll do one invoice against your organization name? Mr. Sahu, could you give your GST number? I think Sahu is attending from Kolkata. Mr. Prabir is attending from Kolkata. Okay, I got Sahu's details. Okay, so Vishal Infrastructure. So let me just get this. I'm just saving over here. Okay, so it's easier for me to copy paste. So Vishal Infrastructure Limited. Okay, so I'm just creating them. Sundry debtors, bill-wise details. State is West Bengal. Regular dealer. And their GST number is this. Okay. So I'll update all these details. All these details are fine. Now I'm just saying what is the item that I want to bill. So I'm billing them 2 numbers of Apple phone. So you could see there is an output IGST that's automatically updating. Okay, mentioned 10 numbers at 1000 rupees. Now it has to calculate at 12%. Freight and forwarding 4000 rupees because it has to go to Calcutta. Okay, transportation charge 150 rupees. So GST details, you could enable that and accept. See over here, this is an IGST invoice. This is the interstate invoice. So it is automatically selling. The place of supply is West Bengal, state code is 19. Okay, all these details are available. Okay, along with the HSN code details, items, freight and forwarding, transportation charges. What is the integrated tax? 40,447. Your bank details and the PAN number. Is this clear? Okay, so now let us move on and see the GST report. Display statutory report GSTR1. Okay, if I go to return form, now it has become 4 transactions. Few times billing address and the shipping address, delivery address are different. In that situation, how to do the invoicing? Amira Rafiq, yes, we'll come back to you on this. Okay, we'll show you how to do that. Okay, so now this is part of your B2B. Okay, so now billing address and delivery address are different. Just go to your invoice. So example, I'm invoicing for, let me go to the local sales. Okay, so change the date on 11th. I need to invoice, okay, where the billing address and the delivery address are different. Click on F12, configure. Enable here, allow separate buyer and consignee names. enable this. Once when you enable, example extrude horn. So here you can look at, there are two details. So example, I'm just saying dispatch document number through dispatch through a road, destination is Mysore. Okay, details of this 11/4, vehicle number 10 days, terms of delivery, Mysore, go down. Okay, this is the consignee details. Say here I'm just saying Fourth Phase Mysore, and this is the buyer address. So the item, what item I am shipping, 50 numbers, 250 rupees, no transportation, no this thing, I'm just bearing everything, and invoice, yes. Now once when you print an invoice, you have both the details of consignee and buyer other than consignee. So you get both these things. So this is where you have to ship to, and this is where you have billed to. So there are two different addresses. Okay. So one more magic I will show it to you on Tally. See, while you are making this, see, generally what happens is the sale doesn't happen like this, how I am showing. Okay. So what the customer will do, customer will call you and ask, sir, do you have iPhone with you? Okay. Can you sell it to me? How much of quantity you have? Okay. So I'll say, yes, sir, it's available in the stock. I can deliver today itself. I can ship it today. Then he will ask, what is the price? I'll say 45,000. Sir, market mein sasta mil raha hai, sir. I'm getting at lesser price in the market. I inquired, it's available at 42,000. All these things are going to start. Okay. Now I don't want to lose this sale. So I will say, okay, I will give you at 42,000, 43,000. We agree on some price. Okay. Then he will ask, sir, tell me what is the final price. Now the problem is, whatever the final price we have agreed, on that there is 28% GST. Right? So additionally, I need to collect 28%. So even if I told 43,000, on 43,000, I need to collect 28% GST. But the other side, the customer who is negotiating with us, he is thinking that 43,000 is my full price. All right. So at most of the time, it's always better during the negotiation, you have to quote price including the tax. Correct? So when you want to quote including the tax, first thing is you need to know against this product, what is the tax? I don't have all the things because I'm dealing with some 50 products. Each product has different rates. Okay, I don't know which is under 18%, which is under 28%. All these problems are going to start. So how do you deal with this? Okay, so for that, okay, I will show you one or two things that you could actually do. Okay, simplify your work. Prabir, we will come to the export invoicing. You need to just hold. Customer in Bangalore shipped to other states, please want to see that. Okay. But Bangalore customer wants to take the GST benefit. Sir, that is not possible. Krishna Prasad, I think we have discussed this multiple times. Okay. As per GST law, GST is consumption based tax. Whichever state is consuming has to get the tax benefit. Okay. Example, if I'm billing to Bangalore and sending the material to Hosur, the consumption is happening in Hosur, which is outside Karnataka. So the tax benefit should be IGST, not CGST, SGST. We'll come to you. We'll come to you on this. Okay. Fine. So I was discussing on typically when you are quoting, how do you quote? Okay. So there is one simple option in Tally. What you could do is, you while making a sale entry, say example, I'm just making one sale entry. Okay, on 12th I'm making one sale entry. Okay, so now I could just go to F12 configure and I have an option, allow entry of rate inclusive of tax for closing for stock item. Enable this. Once when you enable, you could see there is one additional column that has come over after quantity called rate, which is inclusive of tax. Okay, so example, I'm just updating this. Say I'll say iPhone. Okay, iPhone one quantity including, so the rate is 70,000, that is excluding tax. So I'm just negotiated with the customer. I'm telling the customer, sir, I'm ready to give you at 80,000 inclusive of tax. Including 28% tax is 80,000. So you just update what is the final rate that you want to sell under inclusive of tax. Once when you click on that, it will backward calculate and say what should be the rate. Okay. Then because your inclusive of tax is 80,000 rupees and the tax is at 28%, it has backward calculated and told the rate should be 62,500 and the tax should be 8,750 into 2. So this will ease the simplification of data entry. Okay, if you are dealing on over the counter, especially over the counter or especially over the phone where you want to finalize, these things will be very, very helpful. Is it right? Any questions on this before we move forward? Rajesh, what to enable for this option? I'm just showing you once again. On your sales screen, go to F12 configure and say allow entry of rate inclusive of tax for stock item. Enable this. Allow entry of rate inclusive of tax for stock item. Just enable this. You will get a new column on your sales after quantity called rate inclusive of tax. You just type inclusive of tax. If you have configured the rate for that item, it will backward calculate and tell you what should be the rate and what is the tax. Hope Rajesh and Raghav are clear on this. Okay. So next we will move to one export sales. I'm sorry. It's export sales. So we are doing one export sale. Okay. So voucher entry. Okay. I will not use the class. I will just say it's neither interstate nor local. It is an export sale. Okay. So I'm just changing, I'm just changing the date. Okay. So this is an export sale. So what I'm doing is I'm creating one party. Okay. So the party name is Sharda Inc. It's already there. Huh? Sharda Inc. is already there. Okay. So if you look at here, okay, this is for the purchases I think I had done. Okay. So let me create, it's not Sharda, it is Mahati Consultancy Services. Under sundry debtors, country, which country they are into. Say example, they are from Australia. So I've just changed the country name to Australia. Okay. All these details I could update. So sales export, under sales, GST is applicable basically on goods that we are selling. So what am I selling to them? Example, men's shirt. Okay, 100 men's shirt. Okay, so inclusive of rate, I'm just moving forward at 1000 rupees. Now on this, I'm supposed to charge output IGST because it's an export sale. Okay, and I need to claim refund, right? So all these details. Okay, so there might be one more thing called duties, custom duties, or whatever the duties that we have on sales. If there are any additional things, you could also update that. So who are into exports, what are all the things that you'll have? You'll have custom duties, right? Okay, so we have custom duties. I'm sorry, connecting to cloud server, why not sure. Custom duty. Okay, it comes under what? Is it an expense or an income? Let me just currently take it as an income or sundry liabilities, whatever it is, that should not be a problem. Okay, on this there is no GST, right? Is there GST on custom duties? Custom duty is an expense. Is there GST on custom duty? So there is no GST. Okay. Okay, so this is an expense. Not applicable. Example, 5000 rupees custom duty. Now I have output IGST. Save this. Tax invoice. Yes. See, now you are able to see on the top after the tax invoice, supply meant for export or supply of SEZ unit or SEZ developer for authorized operations on payment of IGST. It's very clear. Okay, then it says all these details are available. So you are also getting the country name as Australia. Okay, and your invoice is ready. So here you are getting your company PAN or IEC code. To this you could even integrate, as we had discussed in the last sessions, integrate your multi-currency and print on multi-currency details. Possible. Right? Now if I look at my GSTR report, display statutory GSTR 1. Look at here, this transaction is appearing in your export invoice. This is export invoice. It is not coming under your B2B. Right? Okay, so now quickly let us go on to, so because in your GST report, if you look at, there are multiple other fields. So how do you ensure that what kind of transaction, if you do it, updates here? Say example, I'm just going and doing one simple cash sale. Cash sale. Okay, so I'm just saying I have sold to Ananda. Okay, state. So who are these guys? They are consumer. I'm doing a sale over the counter. Okay, it's a local sale. Okay, what did I sell? I sold Parle-G biscuit for him. One number, 5 rupees. I sold one Cadbury biscuit. One number, sorry, Cadbury chocolate. One number, 20 rupees, 25 rupees. Output CGST, output SGST. Example, I'm just showing this. This is a cash sale to consumer. Okay, and I just update this. This is my cash sale, but on the print it shows as Ananda because he is the consumer to whom I am selling. Okay, so this is there. Now if I go to display statutory report GSTR1, you could see here this value is appearing in B2C small. This is business to consumer small. Small, see, B2C has been divided into two. One is large consumer, one is small consumer. How that is being differentiated? If the invoice value is more than 2.5 lakhs, if the invoice value is more than 2.5 lakhs and you are selling it to a consumer, that becomes a large consumer type. And if the invoice value is less than 2.5 lakhs, it is a B2C small consumer. Say example, you might have, say example, you go to a jewelry store with your spouse. You might end up spending more than 2.5 lakhs. Right? So in that case, it's a B2C sale. Okay, or you got some furniture to your home. So you are getting some furniture to your home, okay, which is costing some 3 lakh rupees. And you end up paying to your Acharya or to your furniture wala. He is not a registered guy. Okay, then you will end up selecting him as consumer, or it might be a sale also if you are doing a sale. Okay, if you are doing a sale of furniture, the same thing is going to happen. Okay, so even in jewelry business, you might get a lot of cash. Okay, if you are into jewelry business, which might be under B2C large, then you need to update as B2C large. Okay, say example, I'm just saying cash sale. Okay, local. Say example, I will just say gold jewelry. I'm just creating one this thing. Okay, and I'm calling it in grams. Okay, GST is applicable. Okay, you could give this thing and say example, this GST is charged at 3%. Okay, 1.5, 1.5. Goods. Okay, so I have 400 grams. Okay, and per gram is what? 3,000 rupees. Okay. So this sale Harsha 9902016128. Okay. Now on this I have output CGST, output SGST. Example, I'm now preparing the Avaible. So I got this invoice. It is a B2C invoice, tax invoice. Okay. Now if I go and look at my GSTR1, Okay, so I need to make this update as a large invoice. I need to specify that. So I'll just check. There is a configuration. We need to do that. Once when you do that, it will automatically appear in your B2C large. Okay. So similarly, if you do a credit note, it will appear here for a registered or an unregistered dealer based on to whom you are doing. Okay. And all other adjustments that you could do. Right. So is this clear on how to do this sales invoicing and cross check the GSTR1 and generate error-free GST reports? Are there any questions? Vinay Channabasappa. Yes, sir. You have any questions? Okay, so if anyone has any questions and you want to speak, please let me know. I can open the voice for you so that you could ask the question. Yeah, thanks, C.A. Vinay. Okay. So are there any specific questions so that we could take? How to upload invoice on Avaible website? Sir, the system is generated an Avaible, as you create an invoice, the system has generated a JSON file. Okay, so on JSON file, you need to log into your Avaible portal, because I don't have the login. In the sense, I don't deal with any products as such, so I don't generally do this. Okay, you need to log in with your login details. Okay, then upload the file which has got generated, so that it will automatically generate an Avaible, and you get an Avaible number. That number you need to come and update in Tally. So how to do this, we can take in a separate session on how to do this. There is one user who is saying, sir, in GSTR1 report, there is 7 non-relevant items. Can you just tell us about this? May I know who is this? Your name, please. Because it's just showing some junk characters. I don't know who is this participant. Your name? Guru Prasad. Okay. Display statutory report GSTR1. You're talking of this small invoices or tax liability. You're talking of this tax liability. Okay, so there are multiple questions on how to create Avaible. Okay, we'll come to that. Guru Prasad, you're talking of this line number 7, or you're talking of B2C small invoice? Vinay, if you are not using voucher class, certainly it will flag saying that you are doing something wrong. But if you are using voucher class, then it will become very, very simple. So it will not even ask you, so it will automatically take. So I can just show you. Non-relevant returns. Guru Prasad, I am not able to understand. What is this non-relevant returns? Can you, where it is showing you on the screen? Before Guru Prasad comes back to you, sir, Vinay, say example, I'm not using any voucher class. Okay, and I want to build to say example Vishal infrastructure. Okay, so by mistake I'll take local sales. Okay, and I'm selling him one phone at 62,500, and by mistake I'm selecting output CGST. So it's not even calculating the value, because this party is under West Bengal. Okay, and we are doing this, say example, okay, it has not calculated, I just update, okay, manually. So let me just say I have just updated manually because it has not given. Okay, and I made this 80,000 rupees. Okay, so first it's saying you are not given tax amount does not match to the value calculated as per the set tax rate. So there is a warning. Verified integrated tax, central tax and state tax. So press Alt A to see the tax analysis. So it's giving this information to me. Now I could press on tax analysis. Now as per the tax analysis, it's showing me, okay, you have to collect integrated tax, but you have made a mistake. So still I have a choice. I get a warning so that I could go and make the necessary changes and then save. Hope this will help. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Guru Prasad. Sorry, it's showing not relevant for returns in GST1 report. Oh. Okay. I understood. Sorry. You're saying this not relevant for this report as 7. Okay. So typically what happens is, it is, say once when you draw this report, it is taking your whole data, the complete database it is taking. So the total transaction that's available in this database is 16. Out of this, 7 are included in the report and 6 are not relevant. Means this might be some other transactions like purchases or your expense payment, various other transactions which are not relevant for GSTR1 report. Okay, so example, if you just click on enter, it says non-relevant GST transactions. Then you enter here, see, look, all these things are purchases, which is not required for your GSTR1. Okay, so this is a reconciliation report, which is typically taking your whole data and saying out of this whole data, you have 16 transactions and only 9 transactions are included. Okay, and 7 should not get included. So these are all not relevant for this data, for this report. Okay. So Prabir is asking one more question. Sir, how to invoice under LUT? Okay, so Prabir, if you have an LUT, first you need to go and configure your LUT details under statutory taxation. Okay, go to your GST statutory taxation. Okay, enable GST details. Okay, so here at the end, you have provide LUT bond details. Give this, what is the bond number, from which date to which date this is applicable. Okay, generally these bonds are applicable for 1 financial year. Okay, once when you enable this, say example, we made few transactions for one transaction for the export sale. Okay, so here once when you give these details, sales export, custom duty, all this details has been given. Provide GST details. So here you could specify shipping bill number, shipping bill date. Okay, port code. Okay, so there is a port code you have enabled, Avaible number, Avaible, I don't know whether Avaible is required or not. Okay, you need to tell me. I'm just taking for this. Status of Avaible generated by me. Okay, all these details. Okay, so pin code, zip code, I'm just giving one zip code. Distance in kilometers, I'm not sure. None, all this details. Yes. See here on the invoice you are getting LUT bond number. What is the date applicable from 1st April to 31st March, and then your invoicings are coming. Okay, and if you want to include the export details over here, when you are doing an invoicing, you could just go to FL configure, okay, and go to one more advanced configure and enable provide shipping details as yes, provide marks and numbers, provide containers and packages. You could enable all these details. Okay, now when you are doing an invoice, okay, sales export, marks, okay, you could say whatever the marks is, number of packages is 4. Okay, update this. Okay, now if you look at your format, the way it prints, it's giving you the number of columns, marks, numbers, and container number, number and kind of packages, then the description of the goods, all these details. So this is standard. Does this clarify you, Mr. Prabir? So few people want to see how to generate flat file for creating Avaible. Okay, we'll take you that once more. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, so there are two questions. One is how to generate flat file for Avaible and how to generate Avaible. The second is Mr. Krishna Prasad wanted to speak. Okay, so let me just open Krishna Prasad. Krishna Prasad, are you there? Krishna Prasad, are you there on the call? I think he has left. He is not there on the call. Okay. So he is not there on the call. No problem. We could take whenever he is back. Okay. So I'll just take you through once more how to generate flat file for generating Avaible. Okay. So if the LUT is there, how it will show in the returns, display statutory report GSTR1. Okay. So this is currently not showing under export invoices. So it is exempted. Right, though there are export invoices, since it is exempted, it is not showing there. Okay, so let's go back and make one more sales transaction. Say example, I'm just making one interstate sale, sorry, local sale. Okay, I'm just changing the date for benefit of those who want to see how to generate Avaible. Okay, so example, extrude hone India. Okay, so I'm just taking all these details. I'm billing Apple phone, one number. Okay, so Avaible details. I'm just updating here. So where it needs to be, from where it has to be dispatched. Okay, all these details, provide these details. Then distance in kilometer, 10 kilometers. Who is the transporter? Okay, so new, I'm just saying Ravi transport. Okay, then the transporter ID. Okay, so currently let me just take the transporter ID as this. Okay, vehicle number 4190, vehicle type regular. Okay, so now once when I generate this, accept, so it is automatically popping saying, do you want to create a JSON file for Avaible in XML format, that is JSON format? Say yes. This has created one JSON file. Okay, now go to your Avaible, log in and update. Import this file. So it will automatically create a Avaible. Here I don't have the login, okay, because we don't deal with any products, or nor I have registered under Avaible. Okay, if anyone has, please give your credentials. I will log in and I will show it to you. Then you could remove that Avaible, but it will automatically get generated. Is this clear? Okay, so let's go to our presentation. So we looked at the sales. Okay, complete sales today we looked at. Okay, hope everything is clear for everyone. So we looked at the local sale, we checked the interstate sale, we checked at B2B sale, we checked at export sale. Okay, we also looked at B2C large, that I'll revert back to you how it gets updated on your report. So that is with me, I'll come back to you on that. Okay, and we looked at how to read the GST report, right? Are there any specific questions? So if there are any specific questions, please put it on the chat, or if you want to speak, please type on the chat. We will open up. So some of our team members who are working at the back end to make this possible, okay, and their numbers are